Alright, so hello everyone, and welcome to the wonderful promised matchup analysis or commentary, however you want to call it, of the Yennenga versus Tomoe matchup. I'm playing with Dani, aka Puneis from the League Discord. Of course, Yennenga versus Tomoe. um, and before we start, just a quick few words on how I see the matchup, how we experienced it just from playing it a couple of times and some early thoughts so we can kind of compare what like the initial strats should be and how it exactly turned out being then. So I'm turning in on the Tomoe side and Dani will be doing the Yennenga side. So from the get-go, first of all, I'm starting as Tomoe. I don't feel like going first or second matters a lot in this matchup, just because both sides have the tools to make the other one approach, so it isn't like that big of a deal. And both are ranged, so there's not much kiting to be used. Of course, Yen has a bit more board control just because of the extra archers with bodies, but Tomoe on the other hand, of course, has her ability, so Yen can't just attack and run away each time. So I guess who goes first isn't that big of a deal. Map we decided to go for bronze just because it's kind of like this middle-ish even option because from what I feel with this matchup, if it's on a Tomoe favorite map, maybe something like Soho or Hell's Kitchen or Raptor Paddock, I would definitely see Tomoe getting a slight edge above Yen. However, if it's on a map with like bad zoning and a bit more like reach for Yen to run away and like put some archers in the way, maybe Memorial would be a good idea. I guess in that case it would be slightly Yen favorite. So we chose to pick a like decent map that's just in the middle of the pack because that's also like what you will usually get in tournaments because the top maps for the fighter with map advantage will of course be banned. So you'll have to live with like some middle-ish options and yeah, bronze just fits that quite well with some good options for both fighters. Um, so what exactly the game strats are? Of course, for me, from the Tomoe side, I have two different game plans that I can follow, or at least switch between also in the game. Um, First of all, my big problem, of course, is I can't feint archer attacks, so going for the archers early would be a good option, just to make Yen like the only body on the board, so she takes the ping when she runs away. I can feint her attacks, and yeah, that would be a good option. So that's the first strat, just going for full archer kills early. Of course, on the other hand, if that goes wrong and I only manage to kill one maybe, and Yen gets the revive off with the other archer, of course, that feels bad because every card that I lose to that is just extra value that Yen gained over me. Um, so the other strat that I have is just ignoring the archers and just going for Yen, driving her out of defense. Because, well, if the archers are not dead, there's no way for her to revive them, right? Um, and the good thing is, if I, for example, use a 4-value attack, maybe 5 against thousands, against an archer, and the archer takes it, well, that's a card that I lost for 2 damage, basically. Um, However, if I use it against Yen, and she maybe blocks with a point blank, that's also 2 damage, just the same, but I forced the block out of her. Sure, she can distribute the damage onto the archers, but it might give me a small advantage value-wise in the long game instead of just going for the archers. However, I think going for the archers early is the right play for Tomoe, or at least trying to go for the archers, because they don't have as many block cards. They have the 2 skirmishes, which are of course insanely good. Um, then they have their shifts, which are blank threes, and I'm happy as Tomoe if the archers block with shifts because it means that they are not using them. And then of course they have their own cards, being Divide and Conquer, which is usually a 2, or Pin the Prey, which is just a 1. However, these low values actually don't matter as much against Tomoe because her values are also like reasonably low. usually. Um, so yeah, I guess going for the archers early is the right idea, just because they don't have as many blocks. So yeah, you might catch one or two off guard, and then get them down, and from there on, Yen will have a bit of a worse time. Like it won't be bad because it's still Yen. Don't forget it; she still has a lot of options. So yeah. And from the game plan from Yen's side on, of course, it's to protect the archers, get as much value out of them as possible, because, of course, Tomoe can't feint their attacks, so you want to use your shifts with the archers to get a guaranteed 2 damage, except if I block with skirmish with Tomoe. Um, you want to use your revives with the archers, just to get full value on that. You'll probably get full one with the land value each time, just because Tomoe's damage is usually just one ping here, one ping there. Um, so you can distribute that very well, and you're just playing a good value game. You can try to get her to drive Tomoe out of defense, because Tomoe might have really good defenses against heroes, but not as much against sidekicks. So she loses a lot of value there. And yeah, you are still Yennenga, so you have a total of 7 discards with double attacks, shield formation, and both pin the praise. So if Tomoe discards some defenses there, it might be an option to drive her out of defense and just go for a good combo turn. Um, so yeah, Yen just has basically all the options in the world as long as the archers are still alive. If they are dead, it becomes a bit more limiting, but yeah. So opening hand. Um, of course, I can mostly only give insight from the Tomoe side in this case, because I didn't play as Yen. I might do it next time that like I play from both sides once to commentate on each of the sides. But I mean, as you see, the recording of this game, or these two games, because we actually played two of them, but the second one was a bit wacky, and I probably won't include that. Maybe later if you want to see it in the comments, I don't know. It was a really weird game. But yeah, the first one already went like, what, 40 minutes, I think. So since I'll be commentating that and pausing here and there to just explain a bit more, um, and we are already on the 7 minute mark, and we haven't even started with the game yet. um, yeah, there will be like, it will be a long video if I include two games and analyze them full. So, I don't know if you're up to that, write it in the comments. Other than that, I would just keep it with one side each time. Of course, take a bit of a look on Yen's moves in this case, what she does, and yeah, but I can't give a full analysis because I don't exactly know the hands at each time and like what strategies would be right. So yeah, but let's actually start now with opening hand. So I have Flash Steel, Worthy Opponent, Confront, and 2 Piercing Shots. Um, from what I think is the right play in this situation at the start to go for the archers, this is quite a nice hand because there's like a good chance that archers don't have defense at the start. So piercing shot into an archer not defending would be basically perfect for me because it's exactly the 2 damage that I would do anyways, and I draw my 2 cards, keeping up hand advantage because Yen would still be at 5 because she didn't defend, so I don't want to be low in cards to like get combo turned or whatever. Plus I have options to cancel Yen's attacks. I have a confront for some reason if I need it. I don't think I will so early, but we'll see. And yeah, it just seems like a nice hand for the early game, especially as Tomoe because I want to keep up pressure to keep to make Yen run away to get pings. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this, and that's also why I will keep the hand. Danny's still deciding on where to put the archers. He actually decides to put one exactly up front, which is a good idea from him, just to like lock me out of the zone so I can't get to Yen. Went in with a piercing shot, he perfectly calls it and goes in for the divide and conquer block, which is just a blank 2, but of course in this case it's completely enough. And now the archer attacks. And this is already the first situation where my alarm bringlings in my head just go, oh shit. Um, because this is really just one thing that it can be. Um, of course, the archers have the option to attack with shifts, but he didn't move yet. It's first action, so no shift probably. The revive or action game, probably not. He only has 3 cards in hand, and he has no archers to revive, so also not that. Another 2 value blank divide and conquer? Nah, probably not. So there's like only one thing he would ever attack with right now, which is pin the prey. And that's not good for me because it can move me up to 4 spaces. So I will be like on the other side of the board, and he has still his second action to maneuver away. So from here on, I will just be boosting a lot because he will always be like on the other side of the board. But at least I can take the attack right now, only take the 1 damage, and don't waste another card because I definitely know that's pin the prey, and I mean it is. So yeah, it moves me 4 spaces into the pink. Definitely makes sense. Now I have the quite difficult decision on what to discard. I'm really thinking about discarding another piercing shot, or the fearsome strength right here. Um, Reason being, out of these two, um, fearsome strength, of course, is a really good card to snipe some archers. Maybe if Yen is hiding behind us up front and actually like tanking for them, so I can't reach with my adjacency effects, I can swap with Yen and then deal ping to the archer or whatever. Um, I could also swap with Yen to like make her separate out of the archer zones, or what. Or like this card is really versatile in the matchup. On the other hand, piercing shot, another another draw, could probably be useful because Yen is at 3 cards. She will maneuver and go up to 4 probably. So I will be boosting a lot in the next couple of turns. So I actually need the cards to keep up with that. So piercing shot might be good just to keep as a safe option for later. Um, if I like run lower on cards at the start. So I actually decide to discard the fearsome strength, which turns out to be a mistake, as you will see in like 20 seconds max. Um, but I mean, from this point on, I think I still would have done it um, exactly this way. Danny, of course, goes for a maneuver, thinks of where to actually go, how he can like make me boost the most, but still like be in a fair reach to go in there because he doesn't want to back off too much because I still have Kisos for later as passes. And now I maneuver and draw into another piercing shot, and this is where I just really would have liked to discard the other one because, well, if I draw like the third copy instantly, that's like, it hurts. Because I could have just discarded the other, and still kept fearsome strength to like deal with the archers. But, well, you can't know what's on top of your deck, what your top deck in the next maneuver. So my problem right now here is I have to boost for 3 if I want to attack the archers, or 2 to attack Yennenga, but in that case I wouldn't be in her zone, um, and I would be like on a hard cutoff, so it's like not great of an option. Although I'm thinking he already used 2 archer cards right now. That's 2 out of the let's see, 3, 7. That's 2 out of the 9 cards that he can defend them with. So um, I feel like it's still the right option just to try to go for another archer. Um, but like I said, I would have to boost for 3 for that. And as you can see in my hand, the only 3 boosts I have right now is the worthy opponent or confront. Or I could play Kisos without the heal, which is not a great thing to do in a matchup because I need that healing, um, as long as the archers are still alive. So out of confront and worthy, Worthy is for me like the best option to discard because Yen won't be attacking as much herself, and even if she does, I don't need the 5 value block against her usually because her attacks are like 3s for the most part. Um, and it's just a blank 3 against the archers. I'd rather keep the confront for the potential of a chosen discard. So yeah. Now, however, what do I attack the archers with? Skirmish? Nah, I need that on defense. Confront? Also probably not. Um, So I just go for another piercing shot. Like I said, keep up the draw because I will be boosting a lot. And I really expected him to take. Like, really expected him to take because in that case, He would have had the shield formation online. He would have a revive online, but he actually defends or skirmish. And well, problem again. He pushes me out of the zone, so I won't get ping again when he runs away, and I will be like, oh, it will hurt because I'll have to boost again next turn. Ah, not a great start. Not a great start. Let me tell you that. Um, double maneuver from Yen definitely makes sense. Sets up in the dark green on the bottom definitely makes sense. So I have to boost for 2 to actually get to Yen. Plus, the archers are kind of safe from all my adjacency effects. Now I again have the option of what to boost with. I could boost with another worthy opponent. They refuse to retreat, confront, or play Kiso suboptimally, or boost with 7. But yeah, we don't do that. Like my only two real options are the refuse to retreat or the opponent. So my thought process right here was in the matchup, the refuse to retreat is the way better card because it denies like Yen being able to move me out of the way with skirmish or pin the prey. Um, However, it is only a 2 boost and bronze is a move 5 center map. So games in this matches with this matchup usually go to the end game. Just because both sides are just really good defensively, and there's not much room for some juicy combo turns or whatever, because even if Yen has the tools, Tomoe will be drawing a lot. Um, so these games usually go on long, so I might need that 3 boost later to actually finish with a 7, because bronze, like I said, is a move 5 center. And Tomoe's boost values, as you already saw in like the first turn there, kind of suck ass. So I'm really debating because Refuse is definitely the way better card in the matchup. Like, not even close. You can't leave, so you're locked in there. Her movement effects don't work on you. Plus, you might get a discard, which is really good. But the 3 boost is just so valuable for Tomoe later that I was really debating. Um, but I actually decide to go for the refuse discard with a boost, just like to keep full value with my boost values. Um, might have been a mistake. I don't know how exactly it would have played out otherwise, but um, I think it was a fair decision. There are arguments to be made for both cards to be discarded or not. So yeah, let's just see how it goes. There we go with a boost. Go next to Yen. And now the question is again, what do I attack with and who do I attack? Um, do I go on for an attack on the archers? I mean, now they're certainly out of defense right now. Like, what should I defend with? They already used 3 of their cards and also like a skirmish, which is like good value block already for them. But what should I attack them with? Of course not 7, because I'm not adjacent to them and I wouldn't throw a 7 on the archers. Um, Offensive cancel, which wouldn't cancel anything and won't deal the 1 ping because it's the opposing fighter, I think. If the opposing fighter is adjacent, it's 1 ping, and not 1 ping to an adjacent opposing fighter. Could be wrong, however. Um, but still not great because I want to keep those cancels for the occasion that Yen attacks, because if I don't have cancels anymore, well, Yen is not scared at all and just will do all of the attacking herself, and like the archers become kind of irrelevant. Um, where the opponent blank 3 into archers, I don't know. And I only also like lose another defense. Piercing shots, well, I would overdraw, and confront is just like bad save skirmish. So I really don't have great options right now to attack the archers with. There's like this is where I really would have liked to have discarded the piercing shot instead of the piercing strength, because that would be a really good option to attack with right now, because I could swap with Yen to kind of separate her from her archers. So if she leaves the zone, she actually takes the ping herself. Plus, it's like she's like really far away from her archers because I really blocked that connection there. Um, and it's still 3, so it wouldn't be the worst value for me. If the archer takes, But right now, I just don't have great options to attack overall. One thing I'm really thinking about right now is going for a confront on Yen, because Yen's defenses are all threes except for point blank. Point blank is the only two value defense that she has, so against everything else, confront triggers. And I thought, like, well, at this state, I already lost so much value. I have to take the risk right now and hope that Yen defends for maybe a stallion, um, or anything else that is not point blank, so I can get a hand peek, actually see what I'm working with, and adjust my game plan with right now. Because I don't really know what I'm working towards at this point. Killing the archers didn't really work, and I also don't have the tools to do it properly right now. Um, but I also can't really go aggressive on Yen because Yen is a tank. Like, she still has 19 health right now. She can distribute her damage. If I just go ham on Yen right now, it won't work as well. Um, so I really thought I need to take the shot right here to go for the confront, but well, it goes bad. Um, Point blank, of course, is like the best possible thing that could have happened for Danny in this case for Yen, because I take two, he only takes one, and I don't get my discard. So yeah, that was really good for him. Now he decides to maneuver. Definitely makes sense. If he does move out of the zone with Yen, she will take the one ping herself because there will be no archer in his zone. So that's at least a small W for me. But I mean, it's only a small one. Because, well, I will have to boost again next turn if I want to get in there. If she, like, moves away even further. But it's not what he will do. And I can also explain you why. Because if he, for example, went to the orange dark red space next to the archer, um, I could just back off to the pink on the left and play Kiso's second action, ending at 13 health, still 7 cards in hand, and he would be at 6 and would have to approach, double maneuver and discarding a card. So that's nothing that Yen really likes, because, well, she loses value. And Yen's cards usually are more valuable than mine, because I can discard some crash like Piercing Shot or Deeds of Valor at some point, whereas Yen's cards are all basically good, and you don't want to lose any of them. So that's the thought process behind Yen not backing off fully here. I think it could have still worked because I'm already 3 cards down in fatigue, so if he maneuvers double maneuvers next turn, I go down to 16, he would go down to 18. Um, so he would still be 2 up, but I also have 2 passes left, so any card that he loses suboptimally in this game will come to bite him later. So I can definitely understand the thought process right here, um, for him not to back off fully. Um, However, it gives me the opportunity to go in and attack right now. Of course, I can't go for an archer because I don't want to boost. But since, I mean, it's quite the nice opportunity right here to go for Yen because there's only one archer in the zone. So yeah, let's see. She blocked with a point blank before, so chances are that maybe there is nothing too great in her hand, except if you really predicted the confront, because he doesn't want to like low block at the start, where as like in other matchups, for example, Bigfoot, you want like to low block the first one just to like distribute damage onto the archers. In this matchup, you don't really want that because your archers are insanely valuable. So most of the time, Yen will take the damage herself mostly. Um, so I go in for a 5 against thousands attack right here. And Danny, for some reason, doesn't defend. I don't know if he didn't have blocks at that point or he just felt like not defending at all. Um, so I can't really tell you if that was the right decision or not, if he even had the decision. Well, yeah, it results in Yen taking 3 and Archer taking 1, but Now he can play a full value one of the land, which is not good for me. That's 3 healing he gets from that one card, which is, oh, it's so good for him. Um, he of course draws one, and this is where I think Danny made a mistake, because um, from my point of view, he should have stayed next to me and attacked right now. Because remember, I have Kisos in hand, and there's like, from his point of view, he doesn't know that, but there's a high chance that I have at least one um, at this point. And if he maneuvers now again, he would end at 7 cards, meaning if I Kisos and maneuver, I will end at 7 again, and he will have to approach and probably boost or discard 2 if he can't reach. So yeah, that would be, of course, horrible scenario for him, but he goes for the maneuver. Um, I mean, everyone makes mistakes. It happens. Um, and he actually decides to end 1 space away from me. So from my point right now, if I go Kisos into the pink on the left, there is actually only one way for him to reach me next turn, which is with a boost 3 with Yen herself, and she would be adjacent to me without any archers in her zone, which is really good. So if he wants to attack, of course. So this is a really good spot for me. And of course, Danny doesn't want to boost with a 3 because, I mean, Yen's cards are valuable, like I said. Plus, he doesn't want to end next to me in my zone while he is alone. Because there's no way for him to get an archer into the pink zone with a move of 5. So Yen would be alone, I could go full helm on her, and since he took the first one there and also only defended with point blank earlier, chances are he maybe doesn't have the best hand. So yeah, not great spot for him to be in. Um, but like I guess the best thing he could do is just double maneuver, centralize a bit more, and actually discard the 2 cards, even though it hurts. Um, but as we will see, it won't be as bad for him, um, because he actually had a bit of trash to discard. Who would have thought? He decides to go into the dark green again on the bottom. Um, might be a small misplay again, because at this point, if you decide to double maneuver and discard the 2 cards, you could also just like stay away and make me double maneuver again. Um, but in this case, like I can just maneuver and attack, but I mean, it's still fine. If he thinks that like if we do that the whole time, he loses value, I lose value. Yeah, his cards are more important, so might be the good idea to just discard 2 here and still like end reasonably close, so he can attack next turn again, guaranteed. And he actually goes for the positioning where Yen actually blocks me off from going into the dark green, so I can't go for an attack on the archers, which is really good for him because, well, he can just distribute the damage if Yen takes anything. Um, goes for the divide and conquer discard, which is reasonable. I mean, at this point, the archers aren't that much in danger, and it's like the worst card in Yen's deck. But the worst card in Yen's deck. But he goes for a double attack discard, and this is really interesting for me as the Tomoe player right now, um, because double attacks usually are like some of Yen's best cards. It's a 2-for-1 trade. It's really good for her. But of course, in this matchup, not so much because Yen won't be attacking as often. And I can still cancel it with like we both taking 1. So it's kind of an even trade in that case. So it kind of makes sense if he doesn't like plan to attack with Yen that often. But it still tells me like, okay, what his game plan is. He wants to play the longer game, keep on to his valuable defenses to keep Yen alive more than going for an actual combo on me or just pressuring my hand size. So that's at least a bit of good info for me later. So who knows if it will come into play. I maneuver and have the option to attack Yen right now. The question is for what? I decide to go for the 5 against thousands again. Throwing a 4 is always quite nice. Get into the next point blank, so 2 damage on each of us. And I'm thinking about what to discard here, and I actually go for the piercing shot because, well, I probably won't need the draw anymore, and I'm already down deck count wise, so that's not great. And at least now I have the option to keep throwing force. He goes for another max value wonderful land. That's already 6 healing that he got in this game, which is ridiculous. Like, it hurts to see as the Tomoe player. Um, yeah, he moves his archers up a bit. It's just really bad for me, the situation. I'll maneuver, and now I'm thinking about, do I want to attack the archers? Not really, because at this point he probably has like at least a shield formation or a revive, and he will probably just take the attack on the archer. And again, I don't have much great things to throw at him anymore because, well, I don't want to throw skirmish. 5 against thousands would be wasted because I won't be adjacent anymore. So there's like not really a good option to go on the archers. So I just decided to go for a full value game and just go on top and actually go for Yen herself. So he can't like just take the attack, gain more value from it, um, and yeah, do some shenanigans there. So I just go for Yen herself because at least she will have to defend in that case. So she uses a card, I use a card. Sounds fair. Um, Question is what to go for now. Safest option again is just 5 against thousands because maybe I'll need the 3 boosts or defenses later. Um, so yeah, just to see. And we have the third point blank. That's like holy. Like I attacked Yen 3 times point blank. Holy. Um, so I take another 2 and I decide to discard the Deeds of Valor to get the 5 against thousands back. Um, like this card is really useful in the matchup because I can just always recur it and throwing 4 value attacks is just nice. Then he decides to maneuver, thinking about putting an archer up front. And this is where I think, okay, well, he just lost an archer. He decided to deal both damage to it, so I'm quite sure this will be a revive. And my thought process right now, I can block with skirmish, meaning if he actually goes for the revive, it will be in my zone, and I can at least move the archer that got revived out of Yen's zone to kind of lock it out, um, in a way. Um, and move it maybe because he will probably put it in like the light green, dark green dual zone on the bottom next to his other archer if he wants to keep it in Yen's zone. I can just move it to the pink and then go down there myself to pressure Yen more, and then like the archer in the pink will be locked off from Yen for a bit at least, so that could be quite a nice play. And that's also exactly why I will go for the skirmish and get totally dumpstered by the pin of prey. It hurt so much when I saw that because I was not expecting it, like not at all. Um, this is just really bad. I mean, I can at least still move this archer out of Yen's zone, but he will just move me 4 away again, and I will have to discard a card. And looking at my hand, there's like no card that I want to discard. I like all of them, kind of in my hand, so it will hurt. Uh, Not good, not good. So, well, first is my effect. I will of course at least move the archer out of the zone from Yen. Doesn't do much because I probably won't attack next turn, so he will just be able to regroup. But who knows what will happen? There could have been a world where he doesn't like push me way up there. So yeah, and then discard the E5 against thousands because I just feel the rest is more valuable for either 3 boost, block, cancel, and of course not keys also 7. So yeah, bad situation for me to be in. We're actually quite even in deck counts right now, but he's up 4 health, although I have 2 passes with 2 healing each, so we're just really even fatigue-wise. Um, which is kind of good for me because I'll probably need to rely on fatigue damage to kill off the archers later, and then actually go for a good 7. Um, Good thing that about me having to discard there is I ended at 5 cards in hand, so I can just double maneuver right now, chill a bit. Yen will have to approach because she is at 6, and I actually decide to end there in the orange zone, so Yen has to end next to a zone cutoff from the orange. So if she ends in my zone, I just drew into Warrior's Way, so I'll get the guaranteed 2 ping from it if I attack, which is quite nice. Um, and then I can maybe go for a 7, depending on where Danny decides to move and what he defends with. So I have some plans and some options right now. Um, he's debating on whether just to sit back and chill. Um, but I think it is the right play to go in right now. Um, of course, he has to boost for it, but at least it will help a bit. He could go for a revive if he boosts high enough with the archer, or anything else. Although he could just lay back again, but then, well, if he moves away, I can Kisos, and he will have to discard another 2 next turn. So yeah, since Yen has no passes, it definitely makes sense to boost, and he does with Master of the Hunt, to actually go in and go for an attack. And this is interesting. I want you to take a good look at this positioning. Um, it screams Stallion Charge. Like, it screams Stallion Charge so much. If we take a look at Yen's um, figure, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he would get the 1 ping and end in this wonderful green space next to the archer. It would just be perfect for him. Of course, he would take 1 while leaving my zone. Um, but I guess 1 for 1, that's fine for him, and he ends in the zone of his archer, and I will have to end at a hard cutoff next turn, which is again good for him. So I'm really thinking right now, what should I defend with? Cancel is of course the safe option. However, it could just be a bait from him, and he's maybe throwing anything else. In which case, I don't really want to throw the cancel because it's still 1 damage and I miss out on the ping. So maybe if he goes for a shift, where the opponent would be better. Skirmish would just be like a good option overall, but I want to keep those for the archers when they attack. So it's also about how much do I want to prevent the possibility of it being Stallion Charge. I could of course also go for a skirmish and um, push Yen like more to the bottom into the single purple space zone, so she can't just run through me and end in the zone of her archers. But in that case, I think she would just back off in total. And I can't really go for my Kisus play because she ends at 5 cards in hand, and will just be able to normal double maneuver next turn. So I'll have to approach anyways. Um, so that's kind of out of the window. Um, so in any case, if it is Stallion and I don't faint, it will be a bad result for me. And that's also why I ultimately decide to go for the cancel and risk it being anything else than Stallion, because in that case, well, I take 1 usually, except if it's skirmish on offense, I would take 2, but well, I can live with that. I prevented her from moving away there, and I have my Warrior's Way into 7 combo next turn, so yeah, it seems fine to go for the cancel no matter what she throws right now. I think I can get a good punish next turn anyways if she stays there. So yeah, forcing her to stay there seems like the good idea. And well, it actually was the Stallion. Um, really, really weird play from Danny, but I like it. Um, it was just so obvious that I really was thinking, does he really mean that? And now, well, I go for the Warrior's Way, but shield formation, it hurts. Now, of course, discard a worthy opponent. The other cards are just way better, and I still have a second one of it in my hand, so I don't limit my options. And he takes the 2, of course, because no archers. I throw 7, and he has another shield formation. And at this point in the game, I just cry. Like, I don't want to discard anything right now. Because Kisos, of course, is bad. It's a pass and 2 healing for me. Um, Skirmish is probably my best block in the whole matchup, because I can ensure that archers only deal me 1 max with shifts. And worthy opponent, it's still a defense, and it's a 3 boost. And if you looked closely from what I've discarded up to now, the other 3 boosts, the only other one that I would have left in deck, except for the second 7, would be the last confront. And that's just really bad. So if we come to an end game, um, and I'm down in fatigue, which it looks like I will be, I wouldn't be able to approach anymore, usually. And that's bad. So the other option, of course, is to not discard, in which case shield would be a 5 value block. Um, Technically, basically, because we'll get an archer back, which is 2 health, um, which is not great, but in my opinion, still better than discarding anything right now. Because the other problem is Yen could also just have double attack action gain or something like that in hand right now. So if I discard a defense right now, knowing that I only have one other in hand, he could really go for a big combo turn. And I can't risk that. It's unlikely, yes, but it's too much of a risk because it could instantly lose me the game. So I'll actually decide to not discard anything. And this is also where Dunny like gave me a bit of info where like he said the 3 point blanks and the 2 shields were the only blocks he had like in the first couple of cards for Yen. So it was really unlucky that I decided to go for the archers at the start. Um, but yeah, who knows? No one knows at the point. So yeah, he takes the 2, the other 2 goes to the archer that just got revived and instantly dies again. And now he maneuvers and throws an attack with the archer. It's again quite a tricky situation because both shift and the revive are valid options right now for him. Revive, of course, giving him an additional 2 health, and the shift dealing at least 1 damage, 2 if I don't have skirmish. So for me right now, with the 2 cards in hand, it's pretty hard decision for me what to block with, because I think it's more reasonable for him to throw the revive right now, just to have more options hand-wise, um, health-wise, I mean, and get the second archer back on the board. Because if I somehow manage to kill this last archer here right now, it will be a bit harder for him to actually get the revives off. So I think revive is more reasonable. In which case, I would probably want to block with a worthy opponent just to keep the skirmish for a shift. But at the same time, I would be losing out on the boost value again, which is just not great. Um, and there's still the possibility of it being a shift, which isn't that unlikely because I will defend probably, meaning I go down to 2 cards. And if I then still go for an attack on the archer, I go down to 1 card and then maneuver. So it's quite a rough situation to be in on low hand count. You never knew what you draw into, and Tomoe has a lot of red cards, so it could be risky. So I'll just decide to go for the skirmish as the safe option, even if it is a revive, which it turns out to be. Um, I can at least now move myself away, move the archer away, no matter, like, depending on what he does. Um, and it also, like, denies the action gain factor, because if I block with the opponent right now, he maybe could have decided to go for an action gain as well if he had a double attack in hand, for example. So I think skirmish was just the safest option overall, um, to go for. And he decides to put the archer back, of course. And I'm thinking about whether to move away right now or not. Um, because I really thought about actually just moving the archer away, but I saw like, yeah, there's no point in it because, well, it will still be in Yen's zone no matter where I move it. So yeah, I just moved myself away to create a bit of space between me and Yen, um, just to regroup a bit, draw a few more cards, and chill. I now stay back at the dark green to make her boost if she wants to attack with anything next turn, um, because I won't be attacking, um, at least right now, because, well, looking at my hand, those two versatiles that I could attack with, I definitely want to keep for defense, or later for boosting. There's like no great options right now. Um, so yeah, that's my turn. Double maneuvering, chilling there, making Yen boost if she wants to approach, which she probably won't. But I mean, there is the option and the possibility. Just make her life harder. Um, Yen maneuvers and probably just goes for a second maneuver, um, which would be just reasonable because, well, she doesn't need to hurry. She's basically at 13 health right now with both archers still um, up in fatigue. So there's like no need for her to rush right now. Um, she just regroups right now. Actually going to the um, orange dark red space there so that if I want to approach and go for Yen, um, I end next to her on a hard zone cutoff, which means she will be able to run freely without taking ping damage. But I just back off myself again because I still have my key source. So if he plays too passively, I can at least punish that again to make him discard. And he, of course, recognizes this, um, moves in a bit, so that Yen can at least reach me in one maneuver next turn if I stay in a pink. And if I don't, the archers can reach with one maneuver. So for me, it's quite the difficult decision to make right now. Do I play Kisos here for like just the pass, without getting any discards from Yen? Or do I go for a maneuver boost, maybe attack Yen, maneuver boost, attack the archer, or just double maneuver and overdraw? From the looks of things, we're both at 7 cards in deck, so fatigue-wise, we're kind of even. I still have Kisos as pass, of course, but I'm also down 1 health, which actually matters in this case because I'm at 8 health, where Yen is at 9, meaning I would die on the 4th maneuver in fatigue, whereas she would survive. Which means if we both go down to exactly 0, she has 2 whole turns that she survives, and I will die on my second turn. So that's important. If we just stay at this health total, of course, I still have the Kisos to heal me up again for 2 each time, but yeah, it matters. And if I discard and lose more value, wouldn't be great. Other thing I'm thinking of is, of course, Yen can maneuver and reach the pink zone in one maneuver, but she can only go in one space if she doesn't want to move, and that's the player one starting space on top. So I do have a cancel in hand, which requires adjacency for the one ping, so that would be a good idea. If I want to go like on the pink one, next to the player one starting space. But in that case, Yen could also just go on this green one next to it to not end in my zone. So the one ping would kind of like negate itself because, well, she won't run from my zone later. And this is where I actually get a funny idea. Um, because I also have a skirmish in hand. And skirmish will win against everything that Yen throws at me, except for shift. Um, and this is a fun one because I will actually play the Kisos and move to the space under this one, which I initially thought about going to. Um, and Danny will also just ask me about it because he was like, "Huh, what is he doing?" Because he really expected me to go under one more on top. But no, I will stay there because if I block with skirmish into anything that Yen throws, um, except for shift, I can still move her out of this space, out of my zone, to take the one ping and back in again. And she won't, since she started in this one, there's no actual chance for her to have any archers in the zone. And since I have a 7 in hand, that might be a good idea. Um, so that's some cheeky strategies that you come up with when playing Tomoe positioning wise. But of course, Shift would cancel that out since it wins against Skirmish. But, well, what are the odds that Yen herself throws a Shift? Like, I mean, I can just cancel that, right? Yen goes in for an attack. I, of course, try to execute my Skirmish plan, and who would have thought from the build up it's Shift? Uh, yeah, about that. I don't know if it was too obvious with the positioning, or if he just didn't have anything better to attack with there, but that of course sucked for me. Um, Now I explained to him what like my initial thoughts were, and he was like, "Yeah, cool." So yeah, I mean, it would have been fun if it worked. Now it's my turn, and like, I have a difficult decision to make again because, well, we're exactly even in that count, 6-6. So that's fine. I just used another Kisos, and now we're also even in health total. But Yen has 2 additional cards in hand. Not great. Um, Value game long term, I'm losing because Yen also has the 2 archers to still take attacks with, um, to soak up damage, plus more board control. So she will probably won't have to boost as often as I have. So yeah, I'm not winning anything. So my only option is to probably go for a confront attack on Yen right now to just look at her hand and see what I'm working with. Because at this point, confront is actually guaranteed onto Yen because all 3 point blanks were played already. Except if she takes, in which case, I mean it's 3 damage. I think that's fine for me at this point because it opens up some kill strat play again. Not so much, but at least it might be a viable option from there on. Um, so yeah, the confront attack is probably the best thing that I can go for right now. Just looking at my hand because I also have a 7 in hand. So if she has like maybe only stallions or something in hand, I could move up and try to go for a 7 next turn or something similar. Um, just depends on what she has. So yeah, I take a small look at her discard pile, what was already used, which is not a lot because I didn't attack her so often. Um, so yeah, it of course doesn't make my decision easier because if Yen still has all of her options, well, there's everything to think about. Um, if she maybe already used all of her jaws, I might really be considering 7 lethal strats because, well, that's her like biggest block next to the last skirmish that she has. So I could work around that with 7 dealing at least 4 damage. But since she still has basically all of her options, that's not great for me. Um, so yeah, this is the awkward moment where I just wait for myself in the game to catch up. And yeah, there I go for the confront attack, just like I said. Um, Decides to go for a Jaws defense. I draw my 1 card, see it's Warrior's Way, and this is a fun situation because Yen's hand is stacked. Like, she has everything she could ever wish for in hand. And I want to take a moment here to think of what is actually the right play to discard. Because I wasn't sure in the situation there, and I'm still not 100% sure right now. So, first option, Jaws. Um, Jaws is just a really good block card overall. Her best damage negate way once I throw my 7, because it can be a guaranteed 5 on bronze if Yen goes on the second player starting space, because every space adjacent to it has at least 2 zones, or exactly 2 zones, should I say. Um, So just good card overall. Revive. Revive is a tricky one because, of course, it's kind of the bane of my existence in this whole matchup, just getting more archers. But at the same time, right now, just looking at how things look, how things stand, I'm not killing the archers anytime soon, like myself. So, I mean, revives are annoying, but if I don't kill the archers, well, they kind of don't do anything. Yeah, they can be action gains, but I mean, I'm not so worried about that yet because I kind of have good-ish blocks in hand, and enough of them as well. Then skirmish. Skirmish was my initial thought to discard right now because I drew into Warrior's Way. And skirmish, of course, can move one of us up to 2 spaces to kind of deny some of the ping damage. But then I noticed no matter where Yen moves herself, she will always take 2 ping. Because if she goes, for example, like from the space she started in over her archer to the right to like the purple zone, she will take 1 from leaving. And here I can just move her 1-2 back and then 1 out again to deal her 2 anyways. So skirmish actually probably not the card that I want to discard right now. Double attack, last option. Um, I mean, it's definitely a good card overall. However, it is Yennenga specific, so I can cancel it, and I do have a cancel in hand right now. But at the same time, um, just thinking about it, she has 2 action gains in hand technically, plus a double attack, which could lead to 5 attacks in 1 turn. Sure, I can cancel 1 of them, so let's go down to 4. But 4 attacks is more than I have defenses in hand right now. So that's scary if she keeps all of them. Um, and in that case, I would probably discard the double attack because it's like the guaranteed 2 attacks. Um, on the other hand, if I go for a discard on one of the defenses right now and I attack next turn, which I will probably do, not next turn, second action, she will only have 1 defense in hand if she decides to defend. But since I'm not adjacent to her, she probably won't defend and just put the damage on the archer. So probably not the right call to just discard defense because I mean Yen also has just like so many defenses left. There's no point for me trying to catch her out of defense. So yeah, I will like I took some time to think about this here. Um, and it's also what I would advise you to do once you get like to these trickier endgame situations. Think about what your win condition is, what your actual game plan is, what you can do, how to get max value out of your cards. Um, and in this case, I still think double attack is the right choice, although there's definitely an argument to be made for each of them right now. Any of the blocks to get defense out of the way, archer revive just to get like 2 health out of the way, and double attack just for like the scary combo potential. There's just an argument to be made for all of them. Um, but yeah, I think in this game also like specifically, I think the double attack was the right choice because I mean yeah, archers are not dying, so who cares about the revive if they're not dead? And blocks, yeah, she still has so many, doesn't really matter that much. And now again, awkward moment where I wait for myself to catch up. Um, maybe I shouldn't have stopped there and just like kept it going, but I thought like, yeah, I would talk more here than I thought there, but it seems like I talk exactly the length that I thought. So, yeah, since I paused, we'll just have to wait now. Shoop-de-doop-de-doo. Yeah, this is also a point where I take another look at her discard pile to exactly see what she has left. She has 1 double attack left in deck, 1 Master of the Hunt, 2 shifts, and 2 stallions. So 4 out of 6 cards are defenses. Yeah, well, about discarding defense. doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. I don't even think I have enough attacks to actually get rid of all of them. So yeah, not happening. And I think this was also the point where I just assured, yep, that's not my game plan. My game plan is to go for fatigue, to get some fatigue damage onto her to actually get rid of the archers, because otherwise I won't get rid of them. Never again. Um, I will just lose too much value. And yeah, try to go for a finishing 7 later, once Yen already took a bit of fatigue damage and archers are dead. Which is a hard game plan to do, but I think it's the only thing that I can reliably count on as a win condition right now, because everything else just won't work at all. Um, Now I'm debating, do I really want to attack second action? Because if I go for Warrior's Way, well, she will just give like the ping to her archer, and then she has the revive online again, and it's kind of just destroys the point of not picking the revive. But at the same time, there is the option that he won't deal both damage to the archer, just to keep it on the board for body presence. So yeah, I decide to go for the attack. Plus, I can't really um, maneuver away because otherwise she will just attack twice next turn, and yeah, my defenses are not looking too great. So I feel like I have to pressure a bit more. Um, this is also the point where Dani also realizes that, oh, skirmish doesn't really help him here. It doesn't do much, or should I say nothing. Um, which is of course good for me, but also good for Dani because he can just give ping to archers. Woohoo! Um, yeah, it's a tricky situation, definitely. Um, Takes one ping on the archer, of course, from leaving the zone from the skirmish. Now I can move him one. Debating on where to move it, but it actually didn't matter, which I also realized then. So 2-3, and this is where I was like, oh, he actually takes the damage on Yen, which I didn't expect. Um, but I guess he had his reasons for that. Um, Keeping the body on the board is definitely a good idea. Plus, he won't be able to reach with a single maneuver with the second archer next turn, so makes sense to keep the other one on the board, because otherwise there would be the option for me to just kill the other archer next turn, and he won't have a good time reviving them. So yeah, makes sense. He goes for a refreshing maneuver um, first, and yeah, this just is a really tricky situation for both of us to be in. Mm. I know 4 of the cards in his hand, which doesn't really do anything, to be honest, for me in this situation. It's not great. Um, from the look of things, I think he's at 4 cards in deck and I'm at 5, so I'm one up there, and I think I still have 1 Kisos left, right? I should have. So yeah, I'm currently winning the fatigue game, but value-wise, he's like miles ahead. Because he still has 2 additional cards in hand. Now 1 additional with like equal deck counts. Although I also still have a bit of discard, so yeah, looks kind of okay. Question for me is right now, do I go for an attack? Probably not. I'll just maneuver again. He has to approach because I still have my pass, and that will be fine for me. I decide to end there in the purple, so Archer has to come adjacent for maybe the 1 ping or the refuse to retreat discard. Um, and well, that's exactly what we will see right now. And this is where I start to become a bit of unsure, because I think in hindsight I make a huge misplay next turn. Um, I don't know exactly how it would have played out, but Danny decides to go for an attack right now with the archer. So for me, 2 options. It's either shift or the revive. Um, it's quite likely that he drew one of the 2 shifts left, so you can't really argue with like yeah, what are the odds? Yeah, the odds are pretty high. So both options are valid. Um, so for me right now, um, if it is not the shift, but the revive to go for an action gain, um, I probably want to play the cancel to finish off the archer. But if it is the shift, cancel would be horrendous because I take three. Yeah, archer would die, but he would still have both revives, and it would be really bad for me. Um, so in the case of it being shift, I probably want to throw either a deeds because I only take two and the card gets a bit of value, I guess, or the refuse to retreat to get the discard at least. So it's a difficult decision to make, but I felt like the refuse to retreat is just like the most decent option overall because I either take two from shift and he discards one, or I don't take damage at all and he still discards one. In both cases, I think I'm fine with that. Um, so yeah, just seems like the best option overall. And as we'll see, yep, it is shift. So yeah, and he discards Master of the Hunt. Lucky guy that he drew into it. Um, yeah, of course, best card for him to discard. He doesn't need it, um, like at all. It's actually bad for him fatigue wise. So yeah, and now it's my turn, and this is where I think I make a big misplay. Um, just thinking of how the situation looks like. Um, I could attack the archer right now with either the cancel or the opponent. Um, where the opponent, of course, feels a bit bad because it's just blank three, and he could defend the archer with a shift, blank on defense, which would keep it alive, which would suck for me, of course. Um, on the other hand, I could go for the cancel, which is a guaranteed kill on it. At the same time, I don't have cancels in hand other than the one. So if Yen actually tries to go for an attack next turn, because she still has a double attack, um, that would be quite bad because I only have two defense net, and there is the chance of me not drawing it to anything else anymore. Um, so I was thinking like, well, let's maneuver first and then see what I draw. But in hindsight, that was actually a big mistake because if I just attack here and kill the archer with the cancel, um, and then I could have maneuvered away into the orange, which means Yen would have had to boost to actually get to me, losing more value, and she can only attack once, even if it is a double attack, and I like can defend against that. Um, if she decides to throw the action gains, well, not great, but I also still have like the option of maybe drawing another cancel on the next maneuvers because I think I still have two of them in deck because I didn't use any yet. Um, oh no, I did. I used one, so there's one left in deck, and I have I think 5 or 4 cards in deck. So the odds are quite likely to get one. Um, and even if not, it will probably be a defense. So yeah, I think the right play would have been to just attack with the cancel to finish off the archer, guaranteed, and then maneuver away after that to make Yen boost. Um, I think that might have really changed a lot, just looking at how things turned out otherwise. Um, but yeah, I'm just taking a look at what I actually have left, other than the cards in my hand. I still have the fearsome strength. I still have another cancel, of course, and then the deeds. So actually, I think I was at 3 cards in deck right now. It's a bit pixelated just because yeah, recording on Wobble is not as great. So yeah, and I think Yen was also at like 3 or 4, probably 3 cards. So yeah, hard decision, but I will go for the refreshing maneuver. And I draw into the cancel, and this is where I really realized, oh fuck, this was a mistake. Because right now, I don't have great options. If I maneuver away into the orange, well, the one archer there that's next to me can still reach with one maneuver. If I go into the dark red, the archer on the bottom can reach with one maneuver. If I attack the archer now, I have to stay in the purple, which means both the archer and Yen are able to reach with one maneuver. Not great situation to be in. Definitely a misplay from my side. I decide to go on the top because Yen at least still has two stallions left. So if she goes for an attack and for some reason throws a stallion, she won't be able to run through me. Or if I attack her next turn, um, if she stays like in the purple zone, again, stallion won't be able to run through me. So that's why I go on top. Um, and now actually go for the thing that I should have done first action, um, attacking the archer below me with oh, I did go for the worthy opponent. I was pretty sure I went for the cancel to get the guaranteed kill. Um, interesting. I don't even remember my own game. I think I should have gone for the cancel just to have the guaranteed kill. Again, mistake. Haha. But probably I was thinking, yeah, um, cards are getting low. Um, probably getting into fatigue, so cancels are like way better in fatigue wise, just because Yen is alone than just a single 5 value block, which is like kind of useless, to be honest. Um, so yeah, that was probably my thought. Although, yeah, in hindsight, maybe a mistake again, but since he took the attack, it was probably like not that bad. Now he goes for an attack, and well, this is just, I think it was an archer attack. Um, it's just again shift or not shift. Um, if it's shift, yeah, deeds would be the best option. If it's not shift, um, the cancel would of course be the best option. And for me in this situation, I'm also really thinking about a take because it's a tricky situation. But I do go for the deeds, and it turns out to be a revive. So, eh, it's okay, I guess. So I take the one, um, and he goes for the action game. And this is scary for me right now because he knows that I only have two cancels, I think, left defense wise. Nothing else. The other two cards on my deck should be the Fearsome Strength and I don't know exactly what the last one was. Damn. Bad YouTuber, bad commentator. Uh, doesn't know every single card. Shit. Yeah. Now he goes for an attack again, and again, I'm thinking about taking because reason. If it's shift, I take 5. That's like worst case scenario. Um, I then could like Kisos maneuver up to 3. I'm at 1 card in deck. I think Yen at this point was at 2 cards, so Yen would double maneuver. I would maneuver boost attack or something like that, and then she will just double maneuver again. I die. Um, so if it's shift, I die. Um, while not defending, if Yen attacks with another action gain, which is totally reasonable, I take 3 right now. Um, then well, I still have both of my cancels left because I'm still thinking of if there's any way to win this, it will be fatigue because if I use both of my defenses now suboptimally without like getting any value out of them basically, well, I don't have anything left to do because well 7 only works if I'm adjacent. Yeah, I could Kisos, sure, but doesn't do much anymore. Um, and even if I defend both, I take 1 from the revive, I take 3 from the shift, meaning take 4 total. I would go down to 2. I could Kisos maneuver up to 4. Again, 1 card in deck. Yen double maneuvers, goes down to 0 cards. I double maneuver, go down to 2 health. Yen double maneuvers, goes down to 4 health. I maneuver, die. So if I full defend both of them, there is no point for me playing more. Like nothing I can do. Um, so I felt like if there's any chance, and he didn't drew the shift as the second card, as the last card that I don't know, because there is the option that he just drew Stallion, in which case the feint actually would work if he attacks again. Um, I really had to try to hope that it's this is like only the revive or action gain in this case again, um, and then maybe another attack from Yen. In that case, I think I still had a chance, um, because other than that, if he actually has revive and shift right now with 2 consecutive attacks, I lose no matter what. Um, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm really thinking it through right now, but I will soon come to the same conclusion that I got to right now. Um, that there is actually no way for me to win this if he has both revive and shift. So I have to take the odds to actually take this right now, probably, in hopes of the 3 and not having a shift. Let's just think about like what exactly that would mean if Yen attacks again. Then I would go down to 2. Um, I could attack her, and then Kisos, meaning no damage total. I'm still at 2 cards in deck. Um, Yen has to maneuver, could still attack me and I die. So in the case where I just go down to 3 and cancel the next one, I go down to 2 and Kisos and then maneuver. I go down, go up to 4 again. We have the same situation where she double maneuvers. I double maneuver, go to 2. She double maneuvers, goes down to 4. I maneuver, die. So either way, I think it doesn't matter. It ends at the same point, and it turns out to be the revive. So 3 damage, and then double attack. So no shift. Well, at least something. So I only take 1. Um, and now, yeah, not much I can do. If I attack with a cancel, well, Yen will just defend Aikiso's, go up to 4. She attacks with anything, because she only has Stallion or Shift or Jaws, which are all at least 4 damage, so the heal from Kisos won't matter. Since I can't defend, I'll just die. Um, if I don't attack right now, like I said, Kisos maneuver up to 4, 1 card in deck, Yen double maneuver, I double maneuver, Yen double maneuver, I'm dead. And yeah, so the only thing I can do is attack and then Kisos and hope that he is scared, maybe, and doesn't go for the attack. Because yeah, I think I still had 1 Deeds of Valor, actually, as the other last card in deck, so there was the option of me having another block, just from remembering it right now. Um, and maybe if I attack right now and then Kisos, I would be at 2. Um, you would double maneuver, go down to 0, I would go down to 0. He would double maneuver, go down to 4 health. I would maneuver boost. Um, probably with deeds. You won't make it possible for me to throw the 7 because it's only a 2 boost with deeds. So I won't be able to throw that. So I would probably just boost with it, to be honest. And then throw the fearsome strength as an attack, which will deal him 1. He goes down to 3 health. And then he just attacks and I'm dead. So that's the guaranteed way of him winning. I don't know if there was a chance for me to win if he did attack next turn And I do still have the deeds because I would take two anyways, so I will just maneuver and die. So yeah, there's no point in all of the thinking. It's just for me stalling time, watching until this game concludes. Uh, but it's still good to think of all the options. Um, I think that's also exactly what I did there. Um, just thinking everything through. Is there if there's any single way for me to win this, which spoiler, there's not. Um, but it was at least close. Like one health could have made the difference between me surviving or not. And yeah, it was a Deeds of Valor left. All right, yeah, at least something. Um, and we're already at the 1 hour 20 minutes mark. Damn, Karma, hurry up, play, play. We're waiting. um, yay! Ah, finally, something's happening. Yeah, I go for attack because why not? And he takes it. Man, he's a cool guy. He doesn't even take damage. He doesn't even have to use cards. Um, because he knew it would be a max of 3. So yeah, no, I just Kizos, heal the 2, and I know I'm dead. Like no matter what I do, he maneuvers, moves in, and anything that he attacks with is at least 4 damage, no matter what. So yeah, that will be it. I just make it a bit dramatic and still like talk to him about how exactly it could turn out, if there's any way out for me or something like that. Just to make him a bit worried if he maybe missed something. Um, he actually is not sure of what to do if there's maybe something that he didn't see. Um, might be a bit cruel for me in hindsight, but I mean that's just what we do. Um, so yeah, of course, after that I will just take it and die. I mean, we all know it. Don't make it so insanely lame. But I do defend. Haha! I thought I think I caught him off guard there. But yeah, those are the left two. Um, I don't think that was away from me. Yeah, that was a wonderful Yen Tomoe game. And yeah, it was kind of the 40-minute mark. So I still have a second one after this, as you'll see, as you can see from like just the time that I still spent recording. So if you want to see that, I can also just record that in the next couple of days as well and post it. But let me tell you, that was a stupid game. Like it was really insane. Um, and I wouldn't like post it for advice how to play. Um, I just went a bit mad there. It worked, but it was funny. Um, so yeah, thanks for watching. I just launched a poll yesterday of what matchup to cover next. Um, and I also asked there because I kind of want to make this a normal series, just like Strategy Sunday. But since this is like a lot less work to do because I don't have to try every single matchup, but just one and like think about it a bit more with Danny and then like get 1 or 2 games in depending on what you want. It's not as much time consuming as Strategy Sunday, so I think I can get it out weekly. So tell me which day do you want these in a week, and then maybe find some cool name for it. I already saw like Meta Monday, which is funny. It's really silly, and I think I like it. But yeah. Um, thanks for watching. Tell me everything you want to see next. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.